Welcome to the Soul Touched by Dogs podcast, the show for dog lovers who see dogs not as toys or tools, but wise souls worth our respect and care. I'm Anke Herman, and I'm your host. I talk to pawsome humans, people who do great work for dogs and their people. So come and join us for today's conversation. Hello and welcome back, Miranda. I'm super excited to have you back in the studio, I was about to say. In the
So
Zoom
formal.
room.
So formal. Yeah. Yeah. It's great to be here.
We're just talking about breathing. It's really funny how you can get conscious of that. So, well, for people who haven't met you before, let people know as always, where you're based and what's your business with dogs.
Yeah, I love this. So I'm Miranda Wimbush and I'm based in a little place called New Canada, Nova Scotia now, which is in about an hour and a half out of Halifax, which is the biggest area. And it's still not very big. I think there's like 1 million in all of Nova Scotia. Um and my business is the Mindful Canine. And um I am part holistic dog coach, part intuitive healer. And, really what I'm most passionate about right now is my Soulful Dog Mama Circle, which is my membership for dog moms, and helping them intuitively connect back to their own wisdom, back to their own heart, form deeper connections with their dogs again. And some really, really cool shifts happening both in their dog's behavior. We're not focusing on dog behavior at all, but it's interesting that those are shifting. And also in just in their general stress level and outlook on life, which is really neat.
I love that. I love that. Because so often in the dog space, it's all about the dog. Like the dog does this, and we need to kind of fix the dog. So, what I hear you say is like, well, let's have a look at the other end of the leash. So, how did you?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, you've been on the podcast before. We've known each other for a while, and so you were definitely more focused on the dogs, right? So, what's triggered that shift, or how did you come about? Like what sparked that focus more on the person?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is a shift. I see a shift in the dog world as well, like people being more self-aware. For me, it's like just my own personal journey, kind of a combination of becoming a mom, becoming aware there that I was as triggered by my son and emotionally reactive as I was many times by my dog. That was a very hard mirror to look into.
Mm.
And then also just wanting to be a better dog mom and a better human mom to my human child that caused me to start to explore personal development, mindfulness. And then along the way, when helping people with their dogs, people would be coming to me going, well, fix my dog. And I'd be going, okay, but I think maybe part of this is there's a connection here into how stressed you are or how busy your lifestyle is. And maybe if we, I remember, having even clients come to their own realizations about needing to slow down a little bit or maybe needing a different pace of life, or maybe that their dog was trying to show them something about what wasn't working. And, you know, also in my own healing journey, I remember having lots of different conversations with different therapists of my therapists to kind of put the pieces together. And then I have a background in psychology as well, so I love this stuff. And what came through is like a lot of what therapists do as well is like understanding that it's not always, say, if you bring a child to therapy, it's not always the child is exhibiting um, that there's problems in the family unit or there are problems in the environment that it's living in. And I see a lot of that similar parallels to our dogs. And this is not in a way to cast any type of blame or shame onto dog guardians. Everyone is always doing the best that they can. But I just kind of got really curious. And then in that course, I also lost my three girls, my three dogs, and my cat Alaska. In a 2 year period, I lost four animals, and that was devastating. It was in constant grief. Um, but the bright side of that was that I also realized that I couldn't run from my emotion. I've always been a deeply feeling person, and working in the vet industry for many years, I learned to shut off my emotions because I couldn't handle the depth of the pain of the daily kind of struggle of guardians and euthanasias and, sick puppies and all of the things that you're exposed to. Um, in the process of losing my dogs, I started to feel again. And in that, I actually started to wake up because when you learn to feel sadness and grief, you also feel joy and presence and wonder more. When you shut off your emotions, as I had done for survival, I didn't feel also the good stuff. I was kind of emotionally numb. So that's, a big gift that my dogs have given me. And yeah, more recently, I've always been curious about energy healing, curious about learning more, kind of on the DL because I have such a science background that I would kind of shut that stuff down as well.
Mhm.
Um, but I really see this intuitive connection stuff as coming back to that little girl that I always have been. Um, I grew up running in the woods with my dogs and so happy, so free. At a certain point, I shut all that down and I needed to be an adult. And, I learned to understand dogs in a very sciencey way and analyze their behavior. And I'm so much moving away from that into just being present, being with our dogs, feeling them, understanding their communication and also what they're showing us about maybe our own patterns. And it's really fun. It's also really it's really amazing. It's a different level of connection and communication.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And do you find that more people are actually I mean, at least in my world, it feels like it, that people are becoming more aware and actually looking more for connection on that level with their dogs and themselves, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely do. I think that during COVID, people did a lot of soul searching. Also, a lot of people got dogs. So interesting kind of
True.
connection there. But like we had a lot of quiet time. And I think that either a lot of people I do find that it drove them to be more curious about their patterns, maybe by source of necessity because there was stress and so much stress and struggle. Like I think that humans and dogs, we change sometimes when things are uncomfortable and we can't stay the same, or it just doesn't work to be the same as we are. And we see like, okay, what could be different? We want to take a different path. I do see, yeah, like a lot of people reaching out to me, both dog guardians, but also professionals who maybe are feeling stressed, overwhelmed,
Mm.
um, like they're tired of just analyzing behavior, tired of trying to fix dogs and wanting to see if there's a different way that they could work. And that's been really rewarding as well to kind of support in that space.
That's interesting, right? So what are when the dog professional comes to you, like what are they looking for mostly? Like for help with the connection to themselves, to their own, um, maybe to not second guess themselves, or to their own dogs, or to their clients' dogs, or I mean, obviously it's all interrelated,
Yeah,
but what's the thing they come to you first for?
yeah, a lot of times it's that they're feeling disconnected from their own dogs or that their own dogs have issues. Maybe it's physical issues or, like because we help people with their dogs, oftentimes we end up with dogs ourselves that have challenges, and we're kind of trying to simultaneously navigate helping our own dogs while, helping clients' dogs. And that's a lot of energy output. So I do find that a lot of the women that I'm speaking to are just struggling with energy management, supporting themselves. They maybe just are pouring a lot into their clients, pouring a lot into their dogs, and are just feeling maybe a bit depleted. The thing with connection is that we need to have a balanced nervous system in order to connect. If we are in survival mode of just eking by in the day and we don't have any space, you don't have space for connection, and that goes for calling a friend and getting out of your house and having coffee. That goes to just sitting with your dog and observing and being with them, fully accepting them and loving them. Or if you need to teach them something, like you don't have the capacity. And then I think a lot of the people also express that they're kind of hitting a wall, and then there's guilt and shame and like, oh, well, I'm telling my clients to do all these things and I'm not doing them. Or, I have this broken dog too. And I've been there because I have a high needs boy, Willie. We've been on a journey for the last 4 years to support him, doing everything from working with his gut health, working with his behavior, working with, um, pain, working like discovering. I'm currently working with two people teaching me and with my own dogs. So I get it. I think that it's really good and really important also that we don't have to be islands. We don't have to figure everything out on our own. And just because we're a dog professional doesn't mean that we can't see sometimes our own blind spots too with our own dogs. So it's so beautiful to have a sounding board. And I'm really honored that, other pros are trusting me with that in that space, to help them, to have a deeper connection with their dog, a better understanding of themselves so that I mean, my real why is like so people can live joyful lives, like people can um have purpose, like that can feel like they want to wake up and they want to do their day with their dog by their side.
Mm. And I guess for dog professionals, there's this added thing, that little well, my dog should be perfect, right? So my dog, I should, if
Yeah.
I'm going out here pretending to help other people with their dog, like my dog shouldn't have, problems, right? And I guess that's not realistic. And so I love that there's this space there where you don't have to keep that mask up, right? So you can just
Hmm.
be yourself. So you were talking, I mean, obviously we were talking before, like, you were talking about, like a meditation process you have. Like, can you touch a little bit on like
Hmm.
what that looks like for somebody?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of what I do now is less about the cognitive thinking mind and more about like finding ways to both calm your nervous system, like simple tools that you can use in your day, like as quick resets. And a lot of those come from Heart Math, and the Heart Math Institute is in California. And they teach really, really simple breathing exercises. And some of them I teach directly from there, others I've adapted. And I find we need those little like check-in points in our
Mm.
day. But a lot of us, because our world is so busy, we may be processing a lot of trauma or grief. We need longer processes to help us really connect in with ourselves. Um, and so that's really, really important. So I have kind of created a intuitive connection process, which is a long visualization. So essentially start with kind of relaxing the mind, relaxing the body. And then there's some visualization. So visualizing your own heart space, your own energy expanding out. And then imagining your dog in that space. Where is your dog? Sending them love, like visualizing the love from your heart going to their heart, them receiving it and sending it back to you. And then just being curious and open to anything that wants to come in that moment. Maybe it's a intuitive hit about something you're curious about. Maybe it's a picture that comes to you. Maybe it's just a sense of overall peace and well-being. Maybe it's a sense of love that you actually can feel the amount of love. People have all different kind of experiences, everything from just having a sense of, like, I had one client recently who just had a sense immediately. She was having this problem struggling with her dog. Her dog wasn't settling, was whining. She's like, oh, why don't I just move her bed? I think she wants me to move her bed closer to where I work. And immediately the dog the next day settled and was calm. Sometimes people are receiving messages from their dogs that have passed away,
Mm.
either pictures of their dog being, happy and healthy, or messages of love. So a lot of really cool, profound stuff that's not coming through me. And I think that's important. I'm just creating a space for you to tap into your own knowing, your own intuition, and for your dog to be able to share too how much they love you, how much they care. I'll never forget one of the first times, and I kind of created this process both from working with energy healers and adapting some of the heart math techniques of like heart-centered breathing into it. And I remember doing with Willie, my boy, when he had injured himself, he'd injured his paw. And, you know, a lot of times when our dogs are injured, we're under stress. So we're going quickly and we're like, okay, I got to get this done. And I could just see he was like, just like resistant. So I just stopped. I just did a really gentle, quick process where I tapped into my heart. I visualized connecting to his heart. And I just felt like him soften. And I instantly got emotional because I felt how much he loved me and how much he trusted me. And I had enough of a pause to recognize, wow, he has no point of reference for what's going on here. He's injured. I have just taken out all this medical stuff. I'm asking him to put his foot in a basin of Epsom salts. I'm all this bandaging material. And he loves and trusts me enough to be there, be present with me during this. And I was just so humbled, honestly, by how much. And so I think when we slow down, we can really sense that and really feel that in a different way, that maybe we haven't had a chance to experience before. And that can be really beautiful and really profound.
And I can imagine that dogs respond to it as well because they're so in tune, right? Like, have you got
Absolutely.
any example? I would, I can totally imagine that when you're in
Yeah,
that space, that I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I like when I'm in a sort of a meditative space, my dogs just drop around me, right? And they come
yeah,
closer and then they just wedge out and you sort of see them belly up. And so it's like you can really notice that they are tapping into that, they can sense that space, right? So it's not just about kind of a nice feeling or anything. It's actually like really a live communication between the two, right?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, there's so much with our dogs that's beyond words and is feeling. So, our dogs are in their feelings all the time and they're sensing how much stress and guilt and fear we might be carrying. And it might be related to things with our dogs, might be related to things we're worried about, you know, or they're sick and we're worried about them being sick. It might be completely not related to them. It might be you're worried about a trip you have coming up or a bill you have to pay. And the thing is that our dogs don't understand. They just sense our emotional state because they're just so deeply in tune with our hearts. When we take time to release some of that heavy emotional weight through a visualization, come back to love, come back to our hearts, they automatically relax because they're like, Mom, let go of some stuff. So I had a client, one of my very first clients when I was experimenting with this. Her name is Jillian, and she doesn't mind if I share the story. I've cleared it with her. She has a big Dobie guy, and he is stranger reactive. And they had had a really, really stressful incident where he'd actually bit someone. And she reached out right after that, and she was just obviously so distraught. She was just, you know, thinking about all the implications of this. She was feeling so bad that it happened for him, for Spencer, but also for herself. And we did, you know, a version of this where we processed verbally, but then I gave her the meditation to do on her own when she was, you know, comfortable. It was just a track. And, you know, she sent me a picture that night of Spencer like fully lying with her, cuddled right up. And this was really different because she said since the incident, she had been so stressed and he'd been so stressed as well that he had been avoiding her. He'd been like hiding and shaking and completely not himself because he was so freaked out about what had happened too. And she was carrying so much. So by her taking space and releasing some of that, he actually wanted to be with her again.
Yes.
And he came, you know, and she needed that comfort in that moment. So it was really beautiful. The cool thing is that they didn't do anything. There was no behavioral treatment protocol that happened there. There was just, you know, we didn't counter condition anything. We didn't, you know, it was just an emotional release and a moment of connection between them. And that really was all that was needed.
That's so powerful, though. That's so because I
Mhm.
think what I love about this is that it goes to the root of the connection, right? Because you
Yeah,
can, like there's a saying, like it doesn't matter how fast you run if you run in the wrong direction, you know, and
Right.
whatever you do, if you fix the wrong problem, it's never gonna, you know, it's never gonna last. You know, it may you do something in the moment if you're lucky, but it's not gonna last. And having that tool available, you know, and it shows up in other areas of life as well, doesn't it? Like it's bound to.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think so much of the time when we have dogs that have challenges, behavioral challenges specifically, I mean, I find that people when they reach out to me, they've been going in 17 different directions. And legitimately, there is a lot that you need to do. If you have a dog that has issues and you're trying to sort through it, um, but what that you may need to multiple vets or multiple, taking specialist visits or doing things like muzzle training, all the physical things. I'm not saying those are not important. They are. However, if you're frantic and stressed and so maxed out, which a lot of the people that I have the privilege of supporting are, when you're in that energy space and you're trying to help your dog, it's like trying to push a train uphill. It's all effort. There's no ease. It's all stress, and your dog senses that they are causing you stress. And so you need to take pauses and release that to come back to maybe having a little bit of capacity. And when you have a little bit of capacity, take some action forward into what you need to do to support your dog. But it comes back to like when you support yourself, when you take 20 minutes or 30 minutes to do one of these visualization processes, relax your body, relax your nervous system, allow yourself to come back, release some fear and stress, and come back to love. Ultimately, you have so much more capacity to help your dog that's right in front of you. And that's, I know, what so many people really want to be able to do.
For sure, for sure. That actually reminds me of when I with my little Kai, and he was like, you know, before we moved into a quiet space where he became a different dog, but you know, where we used to live, and he was like, you know, he's always kind of frantic, and sometimes, and I was like,
Yeah.
for God's sake, I just want to go for a walk with the dog, right? But I learned where I was like, okay, if I started to look at him as my signal, right? Like when
Mhm.
he was particularly frantic,
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
you know, wait, what's going on for you? Like, I'm fine. You know, so it's
Yeah.
like, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, let me just, you know, and invariably, the moment I stopped, you know, and
Yeah.
just kind of like, okay, let's just breathe for a bit, let's just be really
Right.
present, he would calm down instantly, right? It's yeah, and I guess, you know, like you can probably explain it scientifically if you wanted to. You know, I don't think it's magic in that sense, but it's really powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And where I think it's really neat is that so many of us may be disconnected from our emotional state. Like we may be from trauma or numb to how we're feeling or where we feel it in our bodies or that experience. But if we can turn and we can start to notice what does my dog do when I'm frustrated,
Yeah.
like you did, or what does my dog do when I'm sad, then it helps us actually identify and name our emotion, which is a big part of
Yeah.
reducing the charge that an emotion has, is actually going, oh, that's sadness, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, we can kind of move from there. So our dogs can really, really support us with that recognition.
Yeah. They're definitely brilliant teachers. So where can people find out more if they're like, oh, well, that sounds really
Yeah,
interesting. I want to kind of dig into that. So what have you got?
I love this. So my website is mindfulcanine.ca. And I run challenges every quarter. So I have one coming up, the Soulful Dog Mama Experience, where you can sign up for that if you're interested in kind of doing a completely free deep dive into this. And I also have a freebie gift of my deepening your intuitive connection to your dog. Um, like a webinar that I did that includes a call with me as well. So take advantage of that and kind of have an opportunity to experience what's possible for you and your dog, and when you tune in and connect with them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Like, do yourself a
Absolutely.
favor, you know, like try it out. It's, yeah, really
You
powerful,
can't, I
powerful work.
can't
Thank you.
explain it. You need to experience
I
it.
think that's the thing, you need to
It's why
experience
it's,
it. Like, you can talk
yeah,
about chocolate all you want, right? You're never going to know what it tastes like
no,
until you take a
yeah,
bite. So
yeah.
go take a
You
bite.
have to just give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a leap.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Beautiful.
so much for sharing. And I think we'll all need a bit of this. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Take care. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review so other dog lovers can find the show. If you haven't already, head over to soultouchedbydogs.com and sign up for weekly doggy cuteness, tips, recommendations, and personal stories to warm your dog-loving heart. And if you know a awesome human you think I should interview, I'd love an introduction. Email me at Anke, that's ANKE, @soultouchedbydogs.com.